if the lore of a game is great. It gives the world meaning and sets it in place for players to immerse themselves in. The best examples for that are Star Wars: The Old Republic, World of Warcraft, and The Elder Scrolls Online, who each have a great expanded lore support even outside of the game. So it is very easy to believe the world that you enter and to get lost in it and to enjoy it. So how can a game like Pax Dei achieve something like that without having NPCs to guide you into the world or to support a story? The answers to that are more than promising, because Pax Dei will use the medieval era of Europe as their backbone for lore. So it is not pulled from thin air and seems familiar to most of its players. So what is the most medieval thing that is in every MMORPG? A dungeon. And dungeons in Pax Dei will not be instanced, but will be open for everyone to enter and to explore, similar like the approach of Throne and Liberty with their dungeons. Mainframe states that dungeons are hard and unforgiving, especially at the beginning of the game. So it will not be you and your friends venturing through the land, finding a dungeon's entrance and then just proceed by clearing the dungeon and get some good loot. No, it will be you and your dungeons finding a dungeon's entrance.
What did he say?
And then maybe wipe at the first floor, come back with more people and maybe only get to the second floor. And even if you manage to get to the last boss, that does not mean that you are able to beat it. But what has all of that to do with lore? First and foremost, the lore will be a support for the player's ability to write their own story through adventures, and in this case a challenging dungeon, which is paved with failures, new attempts, new ideas how to beat a certain boss, and so on. Though the dungeons in Pax Dei will have enemies that are rooted in Pax Dei's lore, which will show you who inhabited the world in the first place, so before the player arrived, and if there were other iterations of that world in the past. To give the player a place worthy of an adventure, the dungeons of Pax Dei will be handcrafted, though to explore the lore even more, we will get the opportunity of reading, which brings me to the next point. Books. As I have already mentioned, Pax Dei's lore is heavily inspired by the medieval era of Europe, in which books were so rare and valuable that they were chained to the fucking desk. So as in real life, the books in Pax Dei will not only be important for the lore, but also for the character progression and the player's status. Because as in the medieval era, a filled library is not only a symbol of knowledge, but also for power and wealth. And this fact will be transferred into Pax Dei, where you can also build your own library. Every book that you will find in Pax Dei will not only be a chance of upgrading your character, but also to learn more and more about the lore. And for everyone that now gets a PTSD flashback from school, books will not be just a giant text wall that you have to read through, but how exactly they will implement them is unknown. One thing that hops into my mind is the book system from The Elder Scrolls Online, in which you can just click onto a bookshelf and then get a random skill increase through a random book. But how to make Pax Dei even more interesting than just giving us books that are so valuable, unimaginable for our modern mind? Sprinkle some magic over and into the game.
Magic!